Stop! These coins could be hidden treasure. Do not spend them. Check your pocket now, because that ordinary-looking Jefferson nickel sitting in your change could be a silent fortune slipping right through your fingers. Nobody talks about these, but collectors are fighting behind the scenes, paying shocking money for coins people ignore every day. This is real auction shock. These coins change everything, and each one I show you gets rarer, more dangerous to miss, and more valuable. So stay with me till the end, or you might lose a fortune without even knowing it. First up, there's a specific kind of mistake people make every single day, and it's costing them tens of thousands of dollars without them even realizing it. You see a nickel, you hear that little clink, and your brain says, just 5 cents. But what if I told you one of those exact nickels, same size, same color, same worn look, has quietly sold for $60,000? Not a rare error, not a freak accident, just a normal-looking 2001 Jefferson nickel. And yes, you could be holding one right now. This is not fiction. This is happening in real life, and most people miss it because they're moving too fast. The year 2001 wasn't just another year for the United States. It was a time of economic tension, uncertainty, and massive shifts. Production demands at the mint were intense. Coins were being struck rapidly, dies were wearing down faster, and quality control wasn't always perfect. That pressure created subtle variations, tiny differences, the kind collectors obsess over like treasure hunters chasing gold. Now look closely at the front of this coin, the obvious. You've got Thomas Jefferson's profile staring forward, calm, almost too ordinary. The word liberty is stamped beside him along with the year 2001, and right there, that tiny D mint mark. That single letter means it was struck in Denver, and for some reason, certain batches from this mint that year came out with characteristics collectors cannot stop chasing. This detail changes everything. Flip it over, and now you see Monticello, the iconic building, clean lines, symmetrical, almost hypnotic in its design. E pluribus unum across the top, United States of America, and 5 cents below. It looks standard. It feels standard. But that's exactly why it's dangerous. Because the most valuable ones don't scream for attention, they whisper. And only a trained eye, or a lucky one, hears it. Let's talk about the physical feel, because this is where reality hits. This coin weighs exactly 5.0 grams. Its diameter is 21.21 millimeters. Thickness, around 1.95 millimeters. The edge is smooth, not reeded like a quarter, but there's a certain density to it, a firmness when you roll it between your fingers. The composition is 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it that slightly warm, dull silver tone. But here's the twist. The coins that survived in original condition from high-pressure minting runs, those are the ones worth serious money. And survival, that's the real story. Think about it. This coin was meant to be spent, passed from hand to hand, dropped in vending machines, lost in couch cushions, scraped across counters. Most of them are destroyed by time, wear, and careless handling. So when one shows up in fine condition with original surfaces intact, collectors don't just notice, they react. Quietly at first, then aggressively. Now here is where people make a fatal mistake. They find an old coin, it looks dirty, maybe dark around the edges, and they think, let me clean this up. No, never clean this coin. That dirt is history. That toning, that uneven color, that soft darkness, that is exactly what collectors want. The moment you clean it, you erase decades of natural aging, and you destroy its value forever. Do not spend this coin, and do not clean it. Those two mistakes alone have cost people fortunes. Collectors are not casual about this. They study the strike quality, the sharpness of Jefferson's hair, the clarity of Monticello's steps, the spacing of the lettering. They look at the mint mark placement, the subtle texture of the fields, even microscopic signs of dye wear. This is where obsession lives. And because the best examples are disappearing into private collections, the supply is shrinking fast. At auctions, something strange happens with coins like this. They don't always start loud. Sometimes the bidding begins quietly, almost suspiciously calm. Then, one serious collector recognizes what's sitting there. And suddenly, the room changes. Bids jump. Tension rises. People who understand what they're seeing are willing to go all in. Because they know this isn't just a coin, it's a silent fortune hiding in plain sight. Right now, the market value for a 2001 D. Jefferson nickel in fine condition has reached up to $60. Let that sink in. $60,000 for something most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up. That's not pocket change. That's life-changing opportunity. That's hidden wealth sitting in jars, drawers, and forgotten corners of your home. So what should you check first? Start with the date, 2001, then look for that D mint mark. Examine the condition carefully. Don't rush. Don't assume. And most importantly, be patient. Because the people who win in this game are not the fastest. They're the most careful. They don't overlook details. They don't panic. They recognize value before the world catches up. And here's the part most people ignore. Collectors aren't selling these. They're holding them, locking them away, waiting, because they know something the average person doesn't. When supply disappears and demand keeps rising, prices don't stay still. They explode. But if you think this is shocking, what comes next is even bigger. The next coin looks even more ordinary. But what collectors have discovered hiding inside it is something almost nobody is prepared for. And once you see it, you'll never look at your change the same way again. The scariest coins are never the shiny ones. They're the ones you ignore without thinking twice. And this next nickel? People have literally tossed it away, spent it at gas stations, dropped it in parking lots, completely unaware they just let go of something worth $80. I'm not exaggerating. I'm talking about a 1991 D. Jefferson nickel that blends in so perfectly. It's almost invisible to the untrained eye. And that's exactly why it's so dangerous. This coin comes from a time most people don't associate with rarity. 1991, America was in a strange economic transition. The early 90s recession was still casting a shadow, manufacturing pressure was high, and the U.S. Mint was pushing out coins in massive volumes to keep up with circulation demand. But here's the twist. When production speeds up, perfection drops. Dyes wear faster. Details soften. And only a tiny fraction of coins survive that chaos in collectible condition. That's where this silent fortune begins. Now picture the front of the coin in your hand. Thomas Jefferson's face, calm, almost lifeless to most people, but to a collector, every tiny line matters. In God We Trust sits firmly on the left. Liberty and the date 1991 stamped on the right, followed by that small but powerful D mint mark. That one letter is everything. Denver minted nickels from this year have developed a reputation, a quiet one, but serious collectors know exactly what to look for. Turn it over, and you'll see Monticello standing there, symmetrical and still. E pluribus unum arches above, while United States of America and 5 cents anchor the bottom. It looks clean. It looks normal. But here's what most people don't realize. The coins that came out of high-pressure production runs often show slight inconsistencies, soft steps on Monticello, faint lines, or subtle texture shifts. And when you find one that escaped all of that damage, that's when collectors start paying attention. Hold it between your fingers. Feel the weight, 5.0 grams. Not heavy, but not light either. Diameter, 21.21 millimeters. Thickness, around 1.95 millimeters. Smooth edge, no ridges. The metal composition is 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it that familiar, dull silver tone. But there's something else, something you can't measure. A kind of presence. Coins like this carry time inside them, and the ones that haven't been destroyed by circulation, they're rare in a way most people never understand. Here's the brutal truth. Almost all of these coins are gone. Not literally disappeared, but ruined. Scratched, cleaned, worn down, damaged beyond collector interest. That's why a 1991D in fine condition is already walking a thin line between survival and extinction. And when you find one with original surfaces, untouched toning, and honest wear, that's when it transforms from pocket change into serious money. But listen carefully, because this is where people destroy their own luck. They see discoloration, maybe some darkness around Jefferson's face or Monticello's edges, and they think they're fixing it by cleaning the coin. No, that imperfection is exactly what gives it value. Original toning is everything. The moment you clean it, you strip away authenticity. You erase its history. And just like that, your $80,000 opportunity is gone forever. Do not spend this coin, and do not clean it. Those are the two rules that separate people who lose money from people who quietly build wealth without anyone noticing. Collectors are deeply emotional about coins like this. Not loud, not flashy, but intense. They study the strike, how sharp Jefferson's profile is, how defined the Monticello steps appear, how crisp the lettering feels under magnification. They look for balance, symmetry, and originality. And when they find it, they don't hesitate, because they know something most people don't. Coins like this are disappearing into private collections every single day. At auctions, this coin behaves differently. It doesn't always create instant hype. Sometimes it sits there, underestimated, until one experienced bidder recognizes the details. Then another joins. Then another. And suddenly, the price climbs fast. Quiet tension turns into aggressive competition. Because once collectors lock in on a piece like this, they don't want to lose it. Right now, the market has pushed this coin to around $80,000 in fine condition. Think about that. $80,000 for something people casually hand over for a cup of coffee. That's not just value, that's hidden wealth. That's a silent fortune hiding in plain sight. And the scariest part, you could have one sitting in a jar completely unnoticed. If you're serious about not missing this, start simple. Check the date, 1991, look for the D mint mark. Examine the condition carefully under good light. Don't rush the process. And if you think you've found something promising, don't guess. Professional grading is critical. That's what turns a maybe into confirmed value. That's what serious collectors trust. And here's something most beginners get wrong. They chase perfection instead of patience. The real winners in this space don't panic sell. They don't rush to cash out. They hold because they understand that demand is rising and supply is vanishing. Every year, fewer of these coins remain in collectible condition. And when something becomes harder to find, its value doesn't stay quiet forever. This is not just a coin. This is a life-changing opportunity disguised as 5 cents. This is the kind of discovery that separates people who overlook wealth from those who recognize it hiding in everyday life. And once you start seeing it, you can't unsee it. If this shocked you, you're not ready for what's coming next. There are coins out there, even rarer than this, even more overlooked, and worth more than most people make in years. So before you spend another single coin, stop, check everything, and stay with crazy valuable coins, because the next discovery might already be in your pocket.